So here we are in Stirling. We've just climbed up there.
Which is why we're gasping.
This is why we're kind of paused. There's Fiona.
Hello, just retying my hair after the exertions.
And we're looking for the toll booth.
Right now, I think this is the
Stirling.
It's along here and probably down here. The reason we're looking for the toll booth, and in particular the plaque to Baird and Hardy, is because we are hoping to do an episode about the radical independence wars, the radical uprising of 1820. In memory of John Baird and Andrew Hardy, who were publicly hanged here on the 8th of September 1820 for the cause of justice and truth. And the last words of one of them, Baird I think, was remember Baird and Hardy. So we're here remembering Baird and Hardy.
200 years later, Market Cross got a unicorn on the top, and the building across there is...
A lot of the places on this street would not have been greatly different to how Baird and Hardy saw them. Probably fewer bin collections. Got it the wrong way round. Aha!
Oh, there we are.
Indypodcasters out and about in Stirling. We've been on the trail of the toll booth, which we've just found, and we've located the plaque on the wall to Baird and Hardy, who were hung here September 1820 for their part in leading the radical
Actually, and it all took place in that toll booth over
Yeah.
there. What's on for May?
What's on
It's the
for
end of
May?
April.
Friday the 3rd of May, we've got the speeches from the Believe in Scotland rally, and you might recognise one of the two people sitting on this bench from her starring role in that.
From my role anyway.
Oh,
Yeah,
you were
yeah.
excellent, yes.
Well,
I
first
thought
time
you
I've
did
ever
very
been
well.
introduced as an absolute powerhouse of a woman. Right.
But what we've done, because of obviously the live stream, which is wonderful that we have the live streams, but it's about 3.5 hours long.
Yeah.
So we have taken the speeches, just done a podcast of the speeches.
So-
on the day, there's so much happening. I think it's quite hard to
Yeah.
pay attention.
Yeah, it is.
And then on the 10th, we are likely to be doing an episode of Rising Clyde, which is to do with the circular economy. But after today's ructions, do we even have a minister for the circular economy? We just don't know. There was going to be a Zoom on tonight, which we were going to record to do with voter ID for the EU elections. But again, they've postponed that because of all the upheaval, because their speaker was...
I'm sure all of them have been in meetings all day.
So
fair enough.
Fair enough. So that may be rescheduled in time, but if it does, we'll put it in as a bonus Tuesday. And then the 17th of May, we've got a really interesting one. It's a podcast version of one of the TNT show episodes, which was a guy who's very, very big on Twitter. You might know him as European Powell, but has made a study of free ports and special economic zones, and his idea of what's going to happen is fascinating. It's horrifying, and I've no idea how accurate it is or not.
Yes, I know.
It's a difficult one.
I have to say, I have my doubts, really.
There are bits that sound like conspiracy theory, for sure, but also there are bits that you think, oh, well, there are the names, there's the proof. The gulf between the story he's putting forward and what we're getting, the reassurances that we're getting from the Scottish Government, is huge.
It may well be that the truth suddenly, but I'm going to try and get us to talk to some of the people we've talked to before about green ports, because they do come from basis of worked, work experience in that area. So it'd be interesting to see how they kind of sum up. I mean, I'm sure you're right. It's like it's not that he's there. Oh, there's a bus stop.
Between buses and bins, it was getting a bit noisy in this spot, so we decided to find somewhere quieter. So this is us in the Stirling Cemetery, just by the castle. There's the castle. And this is a beautiful view out across the original King's Park. Okay, now we're in the cemetery now.
Right on top of it. This is amazing.
And then on the 24th, we're hoping that we will have an interview with Pat Kane, who Marlene got to know whilst holding a banner up and walking on the march. Never one to miss an opportunity.
We were next to each other at the front, holding the banner, and I was thinking it's going to take a while to get down to George Square, walking very slowly. So I turned to Pat and said, "Pat, you got any ideas about why older Scots are still not convinced about independence?" And he turned to me and went, "Yes." I said, "I've got lots of ideas." Proceeded to tell me quite a few of them, and afterwards I said to him, "If only I'd switched on my camera at that point, that could have been a podcast, but will you come and do one anyway?" So we're just in the process of fixing up a date to arrange that, because he is going to come. So looking forward to that.
That would be really good. Yeah. And then the 31st will be May's Bits and Pieces, and that's May done.
Yeah. And who knows who'll be in Scottish Government by then.
Who knows who'll be there next week. OK, that's what we've got on in May. And for a little extra treat, take our minds off things, here's Marlene's speech from the Believe in Scotland rally.
So apparently I'm an absolute powerhouse. I didn't quite know that, but...
Sorry.
So today we were marching here. The banner at the front of the march said, "Independence to end pensioner poverty." So when Scotland is independent and we've become that nation again, then we can create a decent retirement pension. But I think we need to start that process now, and I'll tell you why. We've got a current state pension. It's called the UK New State Pension, 220 quid a week. Dead generous, isn't it? But if you're 70 or over, you don't get that. You get 50 quid a week less than that. You get 170 quid a week. Now, some 71-year-olds depend on that 170 quid a week. So can we not do something now to address that? I think we can. So in Scotland, we've got the Scottish Child Payment. It's for low-income families. It's now at £25 a week for each child. Parents say how much less stressful their lives are because they know that money's coming in. It's been described as an absolute game changer for inequality. So how about a Scottish pensioner payment? And initially we aim it at the folk who are dependent on that pension. How about just 10 quid a week to start off with? I mean, that would make a difference, and that would be a caring thing to do. That would give people some more dignity. And isn't that one of the things that we want our government to do, to help make people's lives easier and give them that dignity? So think about it. I'm not quite sure where the First Minister is, but he's around here somewhere. Think about a Scottish pensioner payment to help the pensioners who are really dependent on that measly 170 quid a week. The other thing that was on the banners, of course, is about independence, and I have to say that people my age, we're not convinced. Now, some of us do quite a lot to try and convince more folk, but we haven't managed it yet. For every pensioner who wants Scotland to be independent, there are 2 pensioners out there who want to stay in the UK. But for those of you who are 16, 25, 30, for you it's completely the other way around. More than 2/3 of you want Scotland to be independent. So look, well done guys. So listen, we need to start talking to each other. Folk my age need to start talking to you, and vice versa. How about we set up some sort of cross-generation conversation project? And in Ireland, when they were making changes to their constitution, just imagine, they've got a constitution, it's written down, they can make changes to it. But the young folk phoned up the older folk, and they helped them to come round to what the changes that they were wanting to make. So if you're in that younger age group, yeah, of course, talk to your grandparents, but talk to your grandparents' pals. If you've got an elderly neighbour, help them take their bins out, help them get their messages up the stairs and the lifts, because I tell you, it's always really appreciated if you do that kind of thing. Get chatting to them. Tell them why Scotland being an independent nation is important to you. Tell them what a difference you think it would make to you, but also tell them what a difference it would make to them. Point them to Pensioners for Indie Groups, point them to our website, and when you've had a go at that a few times and you've found out the kind of things that can persuade older people, well, then you need to get your message out to a wider audience. And at that point, get in touch with me. Come and talk to us at Scottish Independence Podcast, or talk to the Broadcasting Scotland people, or write something for the National. So we need you younger folk to give folk my age a nudge. Just persuade some of those maybes aye, maybes no pensioner to give your futures a bit more weight than they are doing at the moment. And then listen, in return, we're going to give you a nudge, because you younger folk, yeah, you're convinced about independence, but you're not so good at actually going out and voting for it. See us, we're really good at going out for voting for it. We've got long memories. We can tell you why it's really important to go and vote if you want to change things, because I'll tell you, we've seen some pretty awful people getting elected down into Westminster over the years, particularly a certain woman Prime Minister. So you persuade us about a bit more and give us a nudge about, why independence is so important to you and what your dreams are about it, and we'll give you a nudge to go and vote. So those two things, Scottish pensioner payment and cross-generation conversations. If we do that, we'll give the polls a wee nudge. And then we can give them another wee nudge. And at some point, hopefully not too far away, we can come here and we can really celebrate. Thank you.